So, Apple just wrapped up their iPhone event for this year, California streaming, live from, California. Another virtual event, their 7th installation of a virtual event. And so it was pretty exciting, a lot of new announcements, not just the iPhone 13, but that also. So it was iPad mini, Apple Watch Series 7, and iPhone 13, along with another couple minor announcements. But this video is my recap and reactions to the 3 major announcements that I mentioned earlier: Apple Watch, iPad mini, and the new iPhone 13s. Also, there are timestamps over the scroll bar and in the comment section if you ever want to skip ahead. So let's start with iPad mini, where Apple has now upgraded another iPad to the new design aesthetic. This now makes it the 3rd iPad in this kind of bezel-less iPad experience. So it's iPad Air, iPad Pro, and now iPad mini. And kind of like the iPad Air, the iPad mini isn't as bezel-less as the iPad Pro, and it also shares a similar power button fingerprint sensor to the iPad Air. The new iPad mini has an 8.3-inch liquid retina display with 40% faster CPU performance and up to 80% faster GPU performance. It also has USB-C neural engine, and it brings over center stage from the iPad Pro. So that's pretty cool. So then there is Apple Watch Series 7, which comes installed with watchOS 8, which has a couple new upgrades and features, nothing major. The design of Series 7 is mostly the same, except there is now thinner bezels, so it's 20% larger screen real estate than the Series 6, and I think the design is pretty cool. And so now let's talk about the brand new iPhones, which was arguably the major focus of this event. And so there are 4 models again this year: iPhone 13, iPhone 13 mini, iPhone 13 Pro, and iPhone 13 Pro Max. So the 13 and the 13 mini don't have that many upgrades over its predecessors. It has A15, which is a better chip than the A14. It has a sizably smaller notch, a bigger battery, so that's good for the mini, which didn't have the best battery life last year. It has sensor shift OIS, which is brought over from the 12 Pro Max, a new camera setup, which is, instead of a up and down setup, diagonal, but the lenses are pretty much the same. It also has a 28% brighter peak brightness at 800 nits. But other than that, it's pretty much the same phone as last year, with prices at $699 for the mini and $799 for the normal. But it has a new base of 128 gigs of storage, so that's pretty good. Okay, so moving on to 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max. This is where a lot of the major changes happened, and it starts with 120 Hz. So it's ProMotion from the iPad finally on the iPhone, and people have been asking for it for years. It's finally here. And I'm not so excited about it because I know iPhone 60Hz was already a great experience, but it does exist, and that's great. One thing to note though, it's not on the 12 mini or the 12, it's only on the Pro and the Pro Max, so that's something that's quite interesting. But other than that, it's pretty much all the same as the 12. It's a smaller notch, better, higher peak brightness, bigger battery on the 12 Pro and Pro Max, so similar to the 12 and 12 mini. And other than that, there's nothing different, except if you look on the back, there's now a much bigger camera module, which makes room for the 3 brand new lenses: the 77mm 3x optical zoom telephoto, the 2 ultra-wide and wide lenses with bigger apertures, so it's better for letting in more light, and it helps with better bokeh for cinematic mode, stuff like that. And also, night mode is now available on all 3 lenses, so that's something that's worth noting. There's also the addition of photographic styles, which helps you choose the best image and do sort of processing before the image is available for you to see in the gallery. So real-time quick processing from their AI and stuff like that. But it helps out, and they say it's good for professional photographers who do a lot of similar edits. And the phone uses the ultra-wide plus technology to create a macro lens, which has a really close minimum focus distance, and it looks pretty great from the sample images. Also, Apple said that ProRes will come to their phones later this year, but something weird that I noticed, actually from Marquez's post on Twitter, was that iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max come with 4K, ProRes, 30 FPS, only if you get the models that are above the 128 gig variant. So the 128 gig variant is the base model, and if you get that, you only get 1080p, so no ProRes, and 30 FPS. So it's a significant downgrade. And I don't know why they would do this, because 128 gigs is a lot comparing to other like 64 gigs and stuff. And they should at least put this in bigger print, because it's at the bottom of the page in fine print. So that's weird. I don't know why they would do this, but it is what it is. Also, final change, they come in a new color. 13 Pro and Pro Max come in a new color called Sierra Blue. I like the color, but it's definitely subjective. People don't really like it, and there's no bronze this year, as there was a promise of by the leakers. Other than that, that's pretty much it for this event. Super exciting event, and I can't wait to get my hands on cinematic mode and, well, the products that were announced today. If you have any questions, ask me in the comment section below. I'll answer them. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.